Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream Many Things. My name is Wheeler, and I am going to be your guide through the dunes and mesas of the newest WizKids set, Sand and Stone. I'm really excited for this set. I picked up a preliminary box just to see what was possible to got, and I'm really excited about this. This is kind of a catch-all. It's going to be a lot of monsters from the newest releases, so Monster of the Multiverse, and a lot of things that haven't had minis yet. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Brick by Brick. All right, as per usual, we're going to go through the lightest boxes first and save the heavier for last. And at the end, I will be giving you my least favorite, most favorite in both paint job and use. And then the most excited I am to use is the final one. So let's go ahead and get started. Ooh, so I do apologize for any noise that might be coming up. I'm going to do my best to make sure that you do not get any noise as I open these, but it does happen from time to time. So if you're new to this, most boxes will have three medium or small minis and then have one large or bigger. In this case, they are probably going to be large. There might be a couple huges, but most of the time they're going to be large, just based off the size of the box. But we'll go ahead and open up this first one. Not a bad start. As always, I start with the smallers of the box before I go to the large. So let's go ahead and open these up. Let's see what we've got. Cool beans. Trying not to look at them, but you know, you always want to just see what you're getting before you get in. All right. So first up, should I put the bubble wrap away because I tend to use this stuff for when I ship my own minis, but we'll start with the smallest and work our way up. So first up, we have number 5 of 43, the Dust Mephit. Dust Mephits are really cool. This is something that I actually have been in talks with and getting in some conversations about what creatures you should throw at low-level parties. I think Mephits are a great choice because they do not deal a crazy amount of damage, but they have cool aspects. So Dust Mephits are kind of the amalgamation of air and earth. They're different Mephits based off of specific landscapes that are the cross sections of the planes, the elemental planes. So dust is air and earth. But I love Dust Mephits. I think they're so cool. And I think I have another mini that is similar to this one. That is a Dust Mephit, but again, never bad to have a bunch of these because if you have a party, throwing one at them is not going to be too much of a threat. It's kind of like Sturges where you're going to want to throw a few of them at it. The paint job is, decent for what it is. I like the literal, the benefit of this is it can be very dirty because dust is associated with being dirty. So it actually looks pretty good for what it is. It is just one color, but that's not a bad thing in regards to minis like this. So that's number 5 of 43, the Dust Mephit. That's our first one in the box. Next on our list, we're going to go for this one, which is number 7 of 43, the Rust Monster. Now these are one of the monsters that was shown in the most recent D&D movie. They're also a great thing to throw at your party, especially if they are like metal users or wearers. The paint job is actually very nice. The chitin looks very, get this, chitinous. The tail is really nice. The antennae are cool. And rust monsters are basically, get this, monsters that cause rust. They eat metal and they cause it to erode at a very quick rate, which negates certain aspects of weapons, i.e. gives them a negative bonus to them instead of a normal, standard, or a positive bonus, as long as they are non-magical. This is definitely bigger than I thought it would be. I always viewed rust monsters as being like the size of big cats or small, medium dogs. But this is actually pretty large. But a cool mini, and the paint job, like I said, is actually very well done on this. I really do appreciate this mini. And yeah, just another great monster that has other variations of it already being made. But a new variation can add a nice little pop of difference to a map if you are a terrain or map maker for your D&D or any kind of tabletop role playing that has monsters like this. So that is number 7 of 43, the Rust Monster. All right, the last small or medium, I should say, of this box is number 39 of 43, which I think is a rare, and that is the Mummy Lord. Now, this guy's pretty cool. The paint job is pretty good. It's not too hard to do a mummy because it's just like dirt wash and a pale white or off-white for the wrappings. I like the little clear flame it has in its hand that matches, I think, some of the pictures that are being done or the artwork that's being done for this creature in many of the monster manual / source books that have it in it. Yeah, it's a cool mini. Again, a lot of these minis are going to be Sand and Stone related because that is the name of the set. And I'm glad to have this just in case. You never know. Mummies don't have to be a desert themed thing. It's just that is where they're most commonly attached to. So really cool mini. I like the gold. It adds a nice like pop to the just kind of general white aspect of it. And it's not a half bad paint job. It's actually pretty decent. I would have done things a little differently, but I am a semi-professional painter. So with that being said, still a really cool mini, and I'm excited to have it in my set. So that's number 39 of 43, the Mummy Lord. All right, now for the large of the set. Sorry, I actually already have I had unpainted versions of this that I painted, which are on the YouTube channel too if you're watching this on YouTube. But this one is number 2443, Genie, which is specifically the air Djinn. I like the translucent plastic, like this bluish kind of smoky plastic that they chose to go with for it. Looks really good. The lamp looks really good, and everything on it is painted pretty well. There's some bleed over on some of the paint, but it's honestly like the eyes are not horrible. The mouth isn't awful. It's a pretty good paint job. Just a few things I probably would have added to it, but Djinn are awesome. Also really associated with the elemental planes. This one specifically with the plane of air, and they make a great patron for a warlock. They make a great item that you could search for because most Djinn have the ability to grant wishes, which, as if you're playing D&D or really any tabletop role playing game that has magic in it, you know that wish is a very powerful spell. So really cool. I have a lot of these now, but that's not a problem because, you know, if you really want to mess with your party at high level, you just throw a few of these at them to be a meanie, or because you know your party can handle it. But yeah, really cool mini. I like the way, again, this translucent plastic's really, really cool. Although it's not fully translucent, it's mostly opaque, but you can still kind of see light through it, which is awesome. So it's number 2443, the Genie, and that is the end of our first box. Move on to our second box. Let me know throughout what your favorite mini that you've seen is. I really like to know. I read all of the comments that people put on. So please let me know how you feel about this, what you think you would like to get if you got a brick of this. And let me know how you like my reviews, because I do it for you all. I don't get paid. I don't get sponsored. I just like buying the minis and being able to show you guys what I get. So, whoops, one fell. There's the large of the box though. It's standard large, but all right. So let's go through. Know what that is. I think I know what this is. Yeah, I definitely know what this is. So I actually know most of the stuff in this box, which is a big change from the recent sets that I've been getting, because I've had no idea the exact aspect of some of them. But we'll do the same thing. We'll start with the smallest and work our way up. So to start off this box, we have number 11 of 43, the young Kruthik. Now, Kruthik are like insectoid-like creatures is the best way to put them. I've never personally used them, but I know some people who have and have enjoyed it. I don't know a lot about them. I know of them obviously because I've read through the monster manual pretty extensively, but they come in adult and like, I don't want to say alpha, but like a leader. And they are also, if I remember correctly, fairly low CR creatures. So this is also something that you could throw at your party if you are traveling through a desert at any point. This is definitely something you could be like, yeah, you run into a pack of these and do the whole shebang of going through the combat with it. But I like the pose. The paint job's decent. I would have added a little bit of dry brushing just to make it look a little bit more depth, like have a little bit more depth on it, but it's still good nonetheless. They've been getting better and better, minus a few things. Sometimes there's some pretty bad ones in the sets, but this is not half bad. So that's number 11 of 43, the young Kruthik. Now this is one that I actually already got from that preliminary box that I was talking about earlier, but this is the most common out of the box. So number 1 of 43, the violet fungus. Now I love fungi. I think in both real life and in D&D and tabletop role playing, myconids are some of my favorite creatures, and I love the violent nature of something that is trying to maintain its space in the form of a mushroom. So this fungus, I don't remember the exact aspect of this one. This one might be the one that releases spores that like put you to sleep. But the paint job's pretty decent on it. I mean, it's really hard to mess up something very simple, but it still looks good. There's some nice like depth of color to it because of the wash that's on it. It's pretty standard, but you don't want one of these. You definitely want a few of these on like a battle map of the Underdark. It's a great thing to put into spaces like that to add just a little bit of an extra flavor to your combat encounters and stuff like that. So yeah, great mini, super happy to have it. And it's the most common number 1 of 43, the violet fungus. Cool. All right, last of the mediums in this box. I was correct. I did know what this was. It's number 22 of 43, the Jackalwere. Now, kind of like werewolves or were anything, these are kind of were jackals. They're mostly based off of, that kind of lore and aspect of like Egyptian culture and things like that, because jackals are very common in northern Africa. And they are most oftenly associated, obviously, with Anubis, because Anubis is a jackal-headed god. But yeah, it's a really well painted mini. There isn't much bleed over in places that doesn't need to be. It's pretty standard. There's a little bit of dry brushing that's giving the fur something like more definition to it. The eyes are really well done. The mouth is well done as well. So a really cool collection. I've never actually thrown a Jackalwere at a party, but this may be a good reason to do so. Having it in my armoire with all the other minis that I have may just make it so that I put this in a game at some point. But really cool mini, really well done, and a nice addition of something that I don't already have. So number 22 of 43, the Jackalwere. All right, now this is a pretty standard, i.e. not super special large in this set, but still a pretty cool thing to have. Sorry about the sound. But we have number 30 of 43, a camel. Just a good old-fashioned camel. It doesn't look horrible. You can definitely tell that someone just kind of like wet on the top of it to give it a little bit of dry brush aspect to it. And the paint's just kind of globbed on in places, so it doesn't look the best. But it's a serviceable camel. If you ever need a camel for a game or anything like that, it definitely works well. I doubt that this is going to be one that's very expensive. So if you go on like Miniature Market or anything like that, you'll probably be able to pick a couple or a few up for probably about $10. But yeah, really, really cool really cool beast that I do not have inside my groupings of beasts yet. So a great addition. Again, just a little bit desired on the paint. I wish there was a little bit more to it and it wasn't so haphazard, but I can't do much about that. So number 30 of 43, the camel is our large for that box. All right, on to box number 3. This one. Again, please let me know like what your favorite mini out of this set is or is going to be. You don't have to do it now, obviously, because we're only 2 boxes in, which means we're only a quarter of the way there. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you supporting me through your views. All right. Cool beans. All right, that's another cool one. Ooh, Jesus. Almost dropping things. Get the smalls out, put the large over there. Sweet. Awesome. Cool. All right, so as per usual, if we get any duplicates, we'll do those first. And we did. Oh, excuse me. So we'll start off with that one first, and we have number 7 of 43, another rust monster. Still looks absolutely incredible, and they're low enough CR that having multiple of them is actually a very good thing because you probably are going to throw more than one at your party. Everything I said about the last one still stands. It's pretty consistent in the paint job, which is really, really nice. It's definitely darker than I think most of the artwork is for them, but that tends to come with grime and where these things go. So first dupe of the set is a rust monster, number 7 of 43. All right, technically a dupe as well, although it came in the box that I had a just look at what I might be getting. We have number 20 of 43, the Wereboar. Now, were creatures are becoming more and more popular in games as PCs or NPCs rather than villains or things that you will have to fight against. So having a amalgamation of different were creatures is always a good thing. I think I have a were raven, definitely have a werewolf, and a were bear, I believe, as well. But a were boar is a pretty cool addition. And while this is a desert themed, this is definitely someone that is in more northern climates based off of the clothing that it's currently wearing. It's a pretty standard paint job. It doesn't look bad. It's pretty decent. The colors are very earth toned, so it's very hard to tell the difference between some pieces. It's got a pretty cool hammer in its hand, but all in all, it's a pretty cool, muscular, great mini to add as a PC, NPC, or if you really want a villain. But yeah, so that's number 20 of 43, a technical dupe. The Wereboar. All right, the final medium of this set is another common that's within the first 10, and that is number 6 of 43, just a regular old mummy. Paint job on this is actually pretty good. There's texture to it, which is really, really nice. There's an aspect of it that is in motion, which I love. Like the addition of certain movements in minis is one of my favorite things in companies that I look for to print stuff, but also when WizKids comes out with new sets, I just like seeing motion in a mini because it adds a level of reality to when you put it on your table for a game. But this is a standard mummy. This is not the mummy lord that is a little bit higher of a CR. Still a pretty dangerous creature if you were to throw it at your party, but yeah, definitely a good addition to this, to my ever-growing horde of minis. and something that I don't have, which I'm glad that we have another mini for, because I know that there are many different releases of this creature. So it's number 6 of 43, a good old-fashioned regular mummy. All right, on to the large of this set. Beast-like creature. We have number 27 of 43, the Giant Vulture. Now, this is an excellent paint job. There is a like ombre on the wings that is noticeable, that looks very, very good. There's some dry brushing, it looks like, on it that makes it look very, very nice. The eyes are done very well. The beak is done very well. So great for a wild shape if you have a druid who wild shapes, but also great for, I mean, a creature that might lurk, lower CR creature that might lurk in the desert, that is just going to be looking for food, that might see your party as a source of food. But I like the pose that it has, because it's very, what's the word? It's very like hostile. Which is not necessarily always what you want, but if you're throwing this at your party as a creature to fight, then it definitely shows like, oh, this creature means business. But a great mini. I love the addition of beasts, more beasts, please, which we'll be getting in the next set, which I'll talk about later on. That doesn't come out for another month or so, but yeah, really cool. Love the paint job on this. But that's number 27 of 43, the Giant Vulture. All right, on to box number 4. So this will be halfway done. Thank you guys for sticking around. I hope that you are enjoying the review that I do. I hope that you enjoy all the stuff that I do. And if not, I'm sorry. But if you could just take this moment to subscribe to the channel, like and leave a comment on this. It really helps me out, and I would appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys for sticking around, and we will get on to the next box. Cool beans, another good one. Get those mediums out of the way. Large, technically large over there. The hint, kind of. These are all new. Nope, just kidding. We got one dupe, but that's a good dupe. All right, so first we'll go off of this is our duplicate, which is number 5 of 43, another Dust Mephit. Same thing. This one has a little bit more grime to it, which is nice, but it is still a great mini. I love the Dust Cloud. I think that's a beautiful addition, especially when you can add basing to your models to make it more situational and make it like look like it's actually there in its natural state. So just a really cool mini. Glad I have another one of these, because I've been throwing them at my party recently, and never hurts to have a few more. So that's number 5 of 43, Dust Mephit, our technical third dupe. All right, next up we'll go with this one. We've got number 21 of 43, the Death Dog. Now this is like a Cerberus sans one head, or just a two-headed dog. Looks like a hyena. The paint job on it is pretty decent. The eyes are really, really good. The mouth is good. Now I don't have many minis like this because I haven't run a desert campaign before, but they don't have to necessarily be desert. They could be, you know, a weird companion for some evil hunter that is looking for mutations of creatures to study, and that includes some creatures that, you know, aren't really mutations anymore, like owlbears. But a really, really cool mini, a definite addition to any evil person who might have a beast companion of sorts, and pretty well done on the paint job. I like the change in browns to kind of show a differentiation of color, which is really nice. So that is number 21 of 43, the Death Dog. All right, final medium of this set is number 32 of 43, a Blue Dragonborn. This looks really, really good. This is a really nice paint job on it. The blue is a lot darker than I would have expected it to be, but it's got a nice shading on it. The metal, the actual like cloth that it's wearing has like details on it. It looks really, really cool. The scimitar's a little bent, which tends to happen. Just the resin and plastic that they use tends to be a little bendable, which isn't bad because I wish I could get some of my prints to bend more so that they don't break when I ship them. But a really, really cool mini that could be used as a PC for one of your players, an NPC, an ally, or a villain. You know, maybe a general to a blue dragon that's in the desert kind of thing. But this is just a really cool mini. I love the way that it looks. And I don't have enough Dragonborn. I'm glad that they're starting to add more races into the minis that they're making as just regular like PCs and stuff like that. So, yeah, really cool mini. That's number 32 of 43, the Blue Dragonborn. All right, the large for this set, although it is on a huge base. Sometimes they do that where they will put it on a huge base to make it fit better, but they will give you like a ring to show you how big it actually is. We have number 23, 23 of 43, the Giant Scorpion, which is another wild shape and beast like creature that can be used in many different places. The model itself looks really, really cool. It's weird that they chose to do a single cylinder of plastic. They've been kind of moving away from that, but I don't mind it because it looks really, really cool. The pincer looks good. The mandibles look good. The stinger looks really, really gnarly. But yeah, this is a really cool mini, and like I said, scorpions show up in many places. They're just mostly associated with the desert. I mean, I lived in Florida for a long time, and we would see wild scorpions there pretty consistently. They're just arachnids. Just depends on what kind you're looking for to get. But this is also a common, if I recall correctly, this is a common wild shape that you can wild shape into, at least for certain druids. But also just a cool thing to throw at your party if they're like traveling through a desert and find a cave. A giant scorpion that makes its home there would not be, you know, above the realm of disbelief. But it's a really cool mini. I like the pose. The legs on one side are a little wonky, but the color is also really nice. And just a really good job. Love arachnids. I have one of my own, so but I don't have any scorpions in my mini horde. So really good addition. And that's number 23 of 43, the Giant Scorpion. So cool. All right, on to box 5. We are officially halfway done, and we're starting to get into some of the slightly heavier boxes, which usually means there's a thicker mini in there. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a rare mini or, you know, one of the rarest, but it does mean that it has a bit more heft to it, which is never a bad thing. All right. Oh, cool. I definitely don't have one of those. I am a big fan of them. And this is, I got a large in this set, but, or a secondary large, but I will put you over there, and I will go through. Got another dupe, a non-dupe, and definitely a non-dupe. This last one I don't have. This last one I do not have, I don't think. Let's look at it for a second. Yeah, I definitely don't have one of those, but I don't really use them. All right. First up, dupe of this set, number 6 of 43, another mummy. Really well done on the paint job. Like I said again, this one's a little lighter and a little less grimy, which again isn't a bad thing. Sometimes you want to have a little bit of variation, even if it's the same mini. Having a little bit of variation goes a long way, especially at a table, because it helps you delineate between the creatures that you are running as a DM, but also helps the party be like, oh, I hit that one. Like, I know it's that one because it's a little grimier. But yeah, still a great mini. Throwing multiple mummies at your party is a little bit sadistic, but like, that's kind of your job as a DM, is to be sadistic. So another dupe, not upset with it, because you never know. Might need more than one mummy, but that's number 6 of 43, the mummy. All right. What was the... We'll go with the... No, we'll go with the large one last, even though it's a medium on a large base. That's so weird. All right, next up, we've got number 14 of 43, the Basilisk. Now, I don't have enough of these. These are definitely something you want to throw at your party in a single form when they're lower level, but at higher levels, you definitely are going to be okay throwing multiple at them. Basilisk have the ability to petrify people and turn them to stone. They're used for their blood to unpetrify people because they're one of the few things that, at least from my knowledge, what I've read and done research on, in D&D, they're one of the only, their blood is one of the few things that can naturally undo petrification. Sorry. Paint job on it is pretty nice. I like the light blue and like the red on top. That is very standard artwork for basilisks in D&D. It looks really good. The pose is really nice. Mold lines aren't the best, but honestly, I'm not too upset about that. The eyes are all right. But the shade is really what makes this, because when you have a monster that is this light, having a shade really makes the shadows pop, which brings out the brightness of the highlighted areas. So a great addition. I think I only have like 1 or 2 of these that I painted long time ago, but I'm glad to have another one in my board. And that's number 14 of 43, the Basilisk. Now, the last one of this set is actually a large, but it has a circle that lets you know that it's a medium because it fits on the base better. That's number 8 of 43, the Dimetrodon. Now, I don't really use dinosaurs a lot in my game. If I do, it is a rare occasion, and it is because of some weird magic stuff. But it's still a pretty cool mini, and it doesn't have to be what it is. It could be like a weird lizard creature that you throw at your party in a swamp or in a desert or really anything. The face is really well done. The eyes look incredible. The mouth is well done. The scales are all right, and the fin is all right. The fin is just very almost identical in color to the rest of the mini, which I wish there was a little bit of a delineation that maybe like showed how membranous this is. But still, overall, not a bad mini. And I'm happy that I have it. I may never use it for what it is, but I'll find a use for it at some point, maybe a one-shot or something, like that weird Adam Driver movie that came out recently, the 65 million years ago, when it was just dinosaurs and he's a man from outer space. Anyway, cool mini, another dinosaur that I have now. It's number 8 of 43, the Dimetrodon. All right, the large of this set I was actually excited about because I don't have any of these creatures, and they're not normal creatures that people think of, but like I've thrown a couple of them at my party before in different forms. But that's number 29 of 43, the Spirit Naga. Now, I like this because I have 4 snakes. Yeah, I have 4 snakes at my house. I don't have any cobras because that's illegal, at least for personal use or personal maintenance, I guess is the best word for it. But I love snakes. I love the kind of scale-like aspect of the back that has a nice like red and then dark navy blue and then red and then dark navy blue. The face is all right. The eyes are a little wonky is the best way to put it, but the tongue looks really nice. The pose of it is really, really cool. I wish there was a little bit more on the underside, like the underbelly for the color, but it is still a really cool mini and something that I don't have that might be something that I throw at the future that, barring its name, even though it's called a Spirit Naga, I'm pretty sure they are evil creatures, but still pretty cool. So I'm glad that I have it, and I love snakes, so why would I not like a snake mini? But that's number 29 of 43, the Spirit Naga. Yeah, that's cool. Put that over here. All right, on to box 6. This is when the boxes start getting a little heavy, so I'm excited. See what we get. Yep, that is technically a dupe because this is the large that I got in that prerequisite box, but I will still talk about it because they are absolutely gorgeous. Another dupe. There's some cool ones in this box. All right, our first of this box is another duplicate, and it's number 11 of 43, the Young Kruthic. Same thing, pretty much the exact same as the other one. Paint job needs a little bit of shadow to it. Not bad. Again, I think these are pretty low CR creatures that you can throw multiple out of the party. So much like the Dust Methods or pretty much any other of the duplicates that we've had so far, they are useful in numbers. So I'm glad that I have multiple of these. Even if I never run a desert campaign, having them makes me want to run something with them. You know, like 8-9 sets ago, there were a bunch of different grungs that came in it, and I took all of them because I think they're cool, and I run large encounters with multiple grungs, and that's, you know, a normal thing for higher-ish level parties. So first duplicate of, well, not first duplicate, another duplicate, but number 11 of 43, the Young Kruthic. All right, we'll do this one first. It is a pretty cool model, but again, I don't do much with these types of creatures. It's number 13 of 43, the Pteranodon, which is like a pterodactyl-like thing. Paint job isn't the worst. Again, at least there's some delineation between the actual wing and the body color, which I appreciate because the wing is more membranous. And it was going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the body, although still have some of that same base tone. It's cool. It's a dinosaur. I don't really use them all that often. But again, maybe I'll have like a weird dinosaur themed one shot where I use all of the dino minis that I have against the party. But yeah, decent mini, cool. Not too bad. I like it. Number 13 of 43, the Pteranodon. Just sucks. I don't do enough with dinosaurs, and they are just so overpowered sometimes. But all right, next up we have, just make sure I'm saying this right, number 3 of 43, a Priest of Osiris, spelled differently than the traditional way, probably for interesting things. This is a beautiful mini. Although it's basically skin tone and white, there are tattoos on the body that I don't know if they're accurate to the artwork that's on this, but they look really good on the body, especially the one on the chest. The face looks incredible. The sickle looks pretty good, although again, it is a little bent, but that is pretty normal for it. They even got pretty good on the inside of the dress, the leg that's on the inside of there. So this is a great PC mini, this is a great NPC mini or PC mini. It could be either, or like you could make it like a mage of, or a cleric, or a high priestess of some deity within the lore and cosmology of any of the role-playing games that you have. But really cool. Like I said, the tattoos look really, really nice on it. The face looks really nice, and there's not like any bleed over. Even some of the small details on the skin. This is a really good paint job, and I am, again, for WizKids, I am very impressed by this. So that is number 3 of 43, the Priest of Osiris. All right, the large for this set, which again is kind of a dupe, but not really. But I'm still happy to have multiple of them because I think I have now like 3 or 4. Okay, fix it later. But it's number 25 of 43, the Bulette. And this looks really good. Like the sheen on the kind of plate that it has on its body that's natural looks really, really good. The stone looks good. The kind of exploding out of the stone as it's coming out and going into battle is really, really cool. And if you have any terrain, you can match the color so that way it looks like it's actually coming out, which is really cool. Bullets are awesome. They're great. They're a great like mid-tier level monster to throw at your party. And they are terrifying. They have some pretty gnarly aspects to them in regards to what they can do when they hit with an attack and their ability to burrow. They're basically like big land sharks. But I love this mini. When we picked this up, when I picked up the box to do some preliminary research on what I could get, this was what I got. And I have a couple of these now, but that is not a bad thing at all. At higher levels, you can throw multiple of these, which is really nice. So really great paint job. I love it. It's really, really well done. But that's number 25 of 43, the Bulette. The eyes look really cool too. All right, on to box number 7. Let's see which one's heaviest. It's definitely less heavy. We're going to do that one last. Heaviest is last always, because you never know. Except the supersets. In the superset case, the super boosters are always the last one. But all right, second to last box. A large fell out, so I'll put it over there real quickly. It's also a large that I do not have, which I love. All right, let's get the mediums out. There we go. All right. No duplicates in this box. It looks like these are all completely new creatures. Again, technically another technical duplicate because I already got, but I don't count those as duplicates unless we get them in this set. So to start off with, we'll do this one, which is number 19 of 43, a swarm of insects, which can be used for insect swarm, infestation, any kind of those spells, and is a great low CR creature you can throw at your low level parties. The mini itself is just a bunch of what looks like wasps put together. Paint job is all right. It's very small, so I understand why it's not the best. But there is enough detail there to where I'm like, okay, these are like yellow jackets or wasps, at least on the back. The bottoms of it don't look the best, but still a really cool mini. I don't have a lot of swarm minis. Rats are pretty common as the swarm mini that you will see most often, but still not bad in the slightest. And I am I like this. Good addition to the horde. So that is number 19 of 43, the swarm of insects. Oh, and it does specifically say wasp. I'm just blind. But yeah, it does specifically say wasp, so these are wasps. All right, next up, another little, well, if I don't drop, another beast is next up. Number 4 of 43, a hyena. Really good paint job on this. It actually looks like hyenas that you would see at a zoo, or if you watch The Lion King, it looks like hyenas from a Lion King too. Another great thing to have, especially if you are running any campaign with gnolls, because they will constantly have hyenas around them, because gnolls are basically hyenas that are transformed into a sentient beast of bloodlust, which is what a gnoll is. So having a few of these as like animal companions to gnolls is not uncommon. And would probably work really well for you if you're trying to figure out how to add some extra bits to a combat that might have gnolls in it. But yeah, really, really nicely painted mini. It looks really, really good. And it's number 4 of 43, the hyena. All right. Last but not least, for the mediums in this box set, we have a pretty, again, technical duplicate, but not. It is Yuan-ti Broodguard, number 9 of 43. Yuan-ti are underutilized. The eyes are a little wonky on this one, but the paint job is not horrible. It looks decent. It doesn't stay in the lines great, but it does have a delineation between its scales and its kind of underside, which I appreciate. But yes, Yuan-ti are not used enough, and they are most commonly associated with the jungle. But they can also be found in the desert. Snakes are by nature there are different types of snakes. There are snakes that generally enjoy the rainforest, and that's where you'll see most of the colorful variations. But there are also snakes that enjoy just heat and lack of humidity. Sand boas for one, little tiny snakes that like to burrow and move throughout the sand and keep cool by staying underneath it. But yeah, having a couple of these is not a bad thing, because one Yuan-ti is trivial, but a few Yuan-ti and maybe some guards like brood guards is a great combat encounter that you can throw at your party. Could also be just an NPC. I have a Yuan-ti player character that I've played as that I love with all of my heart. But yeah, really cool mini. I'm glad I have a couple. Paint job's all right, but not horrible overall. So that's number 9 of 43, the Yuan-ti Brood Guard. All right, the large of the set that wanted to jump out of the box before I even got it out is number 26 of 43, a Lamia. Now, Lamias are Sphinx-like creatures that are more evil aligned than their neutral to good aligned counterparts. Instead of having just the face of a humanoid, Lamias have the upper body of a humanoid with the bottoms of lions. So they're kind of like a centaur, but with a lion bottom. The paint job on this is decent. It's pretty not monotone, but it definitely has the same base tone underneath. The face is done fairly well. The eyes are done very well. The hair, I would have liked just a little bit of a lighter color over the top of it. The shadow on this isn't the best, but it's doable. Like, it's definitely something. I would say this is tabletop ready, which is really all you could hope for with these minis. Again, there are some things that I probably would do differently, but I don't have the choice to do that. So overall, a really cool mini. I like the pose of it and just kind of this basically ready to pounce kind of space. And the paint job, like I said, it is very monotonous in its base tone, but it is fairly well done. Just a few tweaks here and there that I would have added to just kind of make this pop a little bit more. But yeah, great to have to the group, and definitely something I don't have already. So number 26 of 43, the Lamia, is now mine. All right, on to the final box, the heaviest of the boxes, at least to my hopefully attuned senses. And it makes sense why. It's pretty big and has multiple pieces to it. Oh man, this is a great box. This is probably one of the best boxes I've ever gotten in all the sets that I've done, because it has a little bit of everything, and man, am I glad that I got, which actually I think this is almost so close. I'll have to look it up of what the rarest of this set was, because I can't remember. I don't know. I'll have to. Here, let me pull it up real quick. Oh, we're getting another one. Cool. All right. Oh, it's okay. Close enough. You know, close enough. But sorry, I have to get pieces of this out because it's so big that they had to separate the pieces of it. I'm gonna take it out of its container and put it together off screen so you guys get surprised by it as soon as I pull it up. It's got to be the right one. Put that off to the side real quick and get the rest of these out. No wonder it was so heavy, because it had such big pieces throughout the entire thing. cool. Like really dense minis, if you could call them that. The creature that I want to do at a party so badly, but haven't had an opportunity to. Oh, and another really cool one. Yeah, this is probably one of the best boxes I've ever had. We're gonna start with the smallest one though. Work our way up. Number 12 of 43, the Flying Snake. Get this, it's a snake that flies. It's still a pretty decent model. The eyes are a little off. One is definitely a little higher than the other, but it's not the worst. Again, I wish there was some change in coloration for the scales on the back versus the scales underneath. Most snakes will have a lighter belly because it's just not touching the sun. But still a pretty cool thing to add to the collection. I wish I had gotten more of these though, because throwing one is meh. Although you can use them as a animal companion or a monster companion to really anyone. If I remember correctly, in D&D lore, the Zentarim use flying snakes as like messengers, or it's a symbol of them or something. I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on that. But still a really cool mini. Not the worst paint job, but great addition. Number 1243, Flying Snake. Now I'm really debating which one I should go. We're gonna go with this one first because this one is less of a good paint job. Sorry, but it's number 10 of 43, the Nagpa. Now I love Nagpa. The moment that I read about them, I was like, I need to throw something like this at a party. They're basically like old. If I recall correctly, they're old mages that swore allegiance to Orcus, and the Raven Queen was like, yeah, no, that's not going to fly, and cursed them to be like the Skeksis in the Dark Crystal. They're weird, like featherless vulture-like creatures that are very, very high arcane ability casters. So these are definitely something that like one or at high levels, a group would be a great encounter to throw at your party. I just love them. I think they're cool. I like all of the weird aspects of creatures that are cursed and still maintain a level of their ability. But the paint job's not horrible. It's very one-toned though, because it is wearing a cloak of purple, which is aligned with some of the artwork that it has. The staff is pretty cool, though I wish there was some more shade on it. But overall, really cool mini, and definitely something I do not have, and I'm very happy that I now have. So that's number 10 of 43, the Nagpa. Yeah, so cool. All right. Oh, man. The last of our medium creatures is number 16 of 43, the Earth Elemental Myrmidon. Now, Myrmidons are basically just kind of more aware elementals. They wear armor and usually use weaponry instead of just their physical body to do it. But this mini is so cool. I love Myrmidons. I think they are an underutilized elemental form for people who are running games that have elemental aspects to them. The paint job on this is very good. Again, the best thing about stone is really all you have to do is get a base tone under there, put some wash on it, and then go back over slightly with the base tone, and it just makes it look so good. So this is definitely something that I will be using at some point in one or many of my games. And I love the metallic bits because it gives it like this weird... All the Myrmidons have this weird humanoid aspect to them that it just kind of adds to their nuance, and is a great mini to throw at a party, but also just a great monster to throw if you have elementals that you're like, I've been throwing earth elementals for a long time. Go look up the Myrmidons. They're really, really cool, and I highly recommend using them. But that's number 16 of 43, the Earth Elemental Myrmidon. Now the last mini of this set I'm very happy about because I do not have any minis of this, and I was looking into getting some, but I'm glad that I waited. It is on a huge base, but it is a large creature, and it is number 42 of 43, almost the rarest, but it's a Chimera, and it looks so cool. The paint job on the dragon head could use a little bit of work, but the lion and goat's head look amazing. The wings look absolutely incredible. The back half of it, the goat half, also looks very good. The tail looks all right, they could have brought this color, this lighter color, down all the way to the bottom of the tail if they really wanted to. But this is just a really cool mini, and I'm sorry it took so long because the wings actually detach. So you're able to take the wings off of it. Should you want to be like, I don't know, an arena style thing where you're like, yeah, they clip the wings of the Chimera, so now it has no flying speed, it's just its body with its other abilities. You can do something like that. But this is a great mini. It is absolutely gorgeous. It definitely could use a little bit of work on the paint job, but it's still a gorgeous mini, and I'm very happy with it. The person who did these wings really likes to do wings because they look absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I'm so glad I have one of these now. And that's number 42 of 43, which is the Chimera, which does it for this brick. I think this is a great haul. Quite a bit of duplicates, but yeah, it's a good set. Sand and Stone is, in my opinion, any of the named adventures or the named source books, specifically not including like Monster Manual or specific groups like the Mordenkainen Presents Monster of the Multiverse set. That is just kind of a Monster Manual set that has been updated that gives us more. But sets like these are things that I really enjoy because they have a lot of creatures in them that you've come to know and love through your favorite, live play role playing groups. But as per tradition, we are going to go through, and I will start with the least least of them all. So the worst paint job and the least useful. And I'll start with the least useful because I know that one already off the top of my head. And the least useful for me are just going to be all the dinosaurs. I just don't use dinosaurs a lot. And I understand why we're getting minis of them because they're trying to make sure that everything is available in case someone does use them. I just don't personally use them. And it's not that they're bad. They're pretty decent minis. The colors on them are very nice, but I don't use them very often in my games. So they won't get that much use from them. Now the worst paint job. It's hard because a lot of these are great, but they really went for intricacy on some and did well. But I'm going to have to say the worst paint job is probably the camel. It's just very bland and it doesn't look very good. And again, we've gone through probably 8 bricks now on the WizKids sets, and I have yet to have, until now, a simple paint job that is as bad as that. It's only a couple colors, but it just does not look good. And maybe I just got the one that got past quality control or what have you, but I know WizKids has the ability to do well on their large minis and at least do pretty good on some of the simple paint jobs, and that just misses the mark for me. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Now we'll go best paint job because I already know that one off the top of my head, and that is the Priest of Osiris. It's very simple, but it is very well executed. Again, kind of the antithesis of the camel. It doesn't have a lot of colors to it, but the tattoos on it look incredible. The paint job and the fact that they got the very tiny details very well makes it so that it is the best paint job out of the set. There are some much more intricate ones that definitely could have taken the cake. But yeah, that priest is just very, very well done. And I am very impressed with WizKids in that specific mini of how it came across. God. All right. Most useful. I mean, usually I go for a group, but honestly, I think, to be 100% honest with you, I think everything in this set is useful. That is why I love sets like these, because you can use every single monster in this for anything. It doesn't have to be desert related. It could literally be anything. obviously barring the dinosaurs, but like pretty much everything in this set is something that is going to be useful or is the most useful. I can't think of one thing in this set that would be more used than the rest. Maybe the rust monsters or the low CR creatures that I can throw a bunch of things at, or even the beasts that friends can wild shape into. You know, as bad as the camel is as a paint job, it's still a very useful mini. The giant vulture is also useful. The giant scorpion is very, very useful. So just having things like that is always a good thing. And I highly recommend anyone who is considering buying bricks to go and look up to see what's in them. Your best bet is always going to be to look at the first 15 of them. If you look at the first 15 and you go, okay, cool, I don't mind having a couple of those if I get duplicates, then you should get the set. Because you're going to get commons crazy more often than not. And you might get duplicates of them like we did. But yeah, it's really, really good. The whole set. The Myrmidon also as well is a really cool one. But all right, the last thing that we've got is the one that I am most excited to use. It's also a really hard one, but I think I'm going to have to give it to the Chimera. I think it is, in my opinion, a very useful mini that can find many different spots to push it into places to make it work for you. You know, they can be associated with being, you know, a weaponized creature for some villain's army. They can be used as a random encounter pretty much anywhere. You know, you can make them if the party's like, we want to do a Colosseum like fight thing, you can use them for that. So I think that's definitely the one that I'm most excited to use. Although I would say the Myrmidon again is a close second. I just love creatures like that. But yeah, so overall, a really, really great set. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for those of you who are watching and stuck all the way through it. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I know it is a long form video, but I like going over as much as I can to make sure that you guys have the best information and my just honest review of what these minis are. As a painter and as someone who uses minis consistently in his games. So if you wouldn't mind, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment and let me know what minis you liked and didn't like out of the set. But until next time, we're just going to keep doing this brick by brick. Thanks, guys.